My name's Nick, and welcome back to the Painter's Mess. We're going to continue our thematic list buildings with the 8th Legion, the Night Lords. Basically, really, really bad Batman. Let's get into it. First and foremost, it's a Horus Hersey is a historical war game. It's in the past. It does not exist in the current and present timeline. With that, or I guess it's in the present timeline, but in the past. The following lists are not intended to be representations of what would be meta lists. These are fun and interactive, and if you win, great. If you don't, hopefully you had a good time. So, sticking with the same theme, all the things are the same except the lists. We have Death from Above, Terror, Assault, Volkite Suppression, and then a fourth one, again, Demonic Nightmare. Now, I know what you're saying. I'm pretty sure Night Lords don't actually like demons, or at least that's what I read on the internet. Don't know if they do or not, but they are chaotic, in the future, in the far, far future. So we're going to throw some demons in there because I think it's probably something cool that you could do. Some kit bashing opportunities, especially with like the vampire, either Soulblight Gravelords or like Flesh Eater core. You could do like a court, or you could do like some kind of demonic vampire-esque demon army. I don't know. Thought it was cool. So their Legion trait is called a talent for murder. Night Lords have an improved weapon skill when fighting units that have tactical statuses. So basically, they like to fight people who are scared of them. It's the easiest way to do it. So pretty much lean into the tactical status effects, and that's kind of what these lists do because that is kind of their whole shtick. You get to fight better when people are afraid of you. Or do they actually fight better? I mean, yes, per the rules, they fight better, but like thematically, does a Night Lord fight better, or do they fight the same, but the people are just afraid of them? So it doesn't really work the same on, I would say, like regular Legionnaires, because I also heard an excerpt from one of the books where Raldoron from the Blood Angels is fighting some Night Lord, and the Night Lord is like a giant chicken and just begs for mercy and like runs away. It's crazy. Like they are probably not the most brave Legion. I feel like they feed on the terror that they cause, but they're actually a bunch of like scared weaklings. And I say that as a Legionnaire, however weak that can be portrayed. So on to the next thing. Their advanced reaction is the better part of valor. They may fall back and not become routed in step 4 of the charge process. Sorry. So basically, the unit falls back as if they were routed, but they're not, and then the charge commences. So it's basically like you get to back away some, and I think that kind of leans towards like being afraid of actually getting into combat, that they don't think that they're going to win, or they don't already have, they have statused another unit or their enemy unit that then they're going to charge. So it's like I'm going to be a little chicken and run backwards and be afraid. It's kind of how I see it. So now I will say that I don't have my book in front of me, and I don't know if this is actually the prime advantage. I could not find another prime advantage on new recruit. So if I'm wrong here, I probably could have checked hammer and bolter or whatever that other bolter or chainsword. They probably would have told me, but it's too late for that now. So I'm assuming that this is the prime advantage, the Atramentar. Basically, you can make any Terminator an Atramentar detachment, and then they get deep strike and impact initiative, which is pretty sweet. I know for a fact that it works in the Atramentar detachment. So Atramentars can be not just there is a legacy unit, as mentioned farther down, that is the Flay Clade, but you can also make a Cataphracti unit a Atramentar unit as well. So that kind of gives you a little bit of kit bashing and a little bit of customization in how you want to build out your army. So the Gambit is the Nostramon Courage. Let's see, they make it immediately return a model to the unit as if it was the resolution subphase, and then they get to pick a different model. So basically, they just throw out a random dude to fight in the challenge. That's crazy. That's it's very like it falls again in line with like being if they're not in power, then they are afraid of fighting, which is kind of interesting. So, just kind of my thought process there. Weapons, Chain Blade, those are pretty sweet. No, they swing at initiative. They have base attacks, +1 strength, AP3 damage 1, breaching, and shred 6 plus. I think that is pretty awesome. I think that's a really cool weapon. It's basically your chainsword but better, or your lightning claws, but +1 strength. So if I have that right, because I think lightning claws are base strength, but no initiative, no plus attacks depending on how many you have. But anyway, I think that those weapons are awesome, and they also look really cool. The Exsantian Power Claw, that's how I would read that. -2 initiative, base attack, +3 strength, AP2, damage 2, shred 6. If you hit those sixes, you're damage 3, which is crazy. So that Power Claw is pretty amazing as well. Headman's Axe is -2 attacks, swings at initiative. Maybe I have that wrong. I didn't put all the stats in there. Anyway, ignore all of that except +2 strength, AP2, damage 2, crit 6. That's pretty sweet. It's a Paragon Blade. And then you have Trophies of Judgment, which is something you can give a command unit or your leader units, or your leaders, not your sergeants. Wait, no, I think you can't give them to your sergeants. I'd have to check on the sergeants part, but the head leaders, I think it's command units, can gain Fear 1. Basically, lean into your fear, give everybody the Trophies of Judgment for 10 points, and get that extra Fear 1 for whatever unit you put your characters in. So, special units and characters, you have Conrad Kurz, your Primarch. Sevatar is your named character. Terror Squads are your troops. Night Raptors are your fast attack. Kantakar Terminators are your elites. And the Atramentar Clade is your legacy unit. And that standard unit are Tartaros Terminators. But you can, like I said before, with the Prime advantage, you can make Cataphracti of Atramar as well. So, really, like I said, really lean into the Fear 1. So make sure you give all of your characters your Trophies of Judgment. The best thing you can do is status an enemy unit and then charge them. So anything to lean on fear or statuses. So your suppressive, your stun, etc., because that fear does -1 to all all stats. So your leadership, cool, willpower, and intelligence. Definitely worth it. When you paint them, do the lightning bolts. Why? Because it's cool. It takes a lot more time and a lot more effort, but yeah, they look cool. Just do it. And then trophy skulls, bones, flayed skin. There are so many options. There's dead animal bits by Pete the Wargamer. There are obviously the skull pack. You have all of these Age of Sigmar stuff that you can use for trophies and skulls and stuff. So many different options. And then Hersey Hammer actually just recently put out a video regarding doing a Volkite, an all Volkite list, and I feel that they did mention Night Lords in this video, and I feel that Volkite fits really well with the Night Lords as well as a couple other legions, but I think you can do some pretty cool Volkite or assault lists, and hopefully you can see kind of how those are built out in this video. And then I haven't read any, and this is kind of what I mentioned before, I haven't read anything about them other than the one excerpt that I heard, which is basically they are like, not, I wouldn't say weak, but they are definitely not the most bravest of legions if they are not in control. So onto the lists. Let's do Death from Above. I just found some random art, so I don't actually know who this is. It might be, I don't know. It looks cool though. Very more focused on the 40k Chaos Night Lords than the 30k versions because they already have the armor trim and stuff. And that's a Custode dude. So we have a Crusade Detachment with a Praetor, Centurion, Master of Descent. Anything that has Assault Marines is going to have a Master of Descent, I feel. So I do apologize for that. It's just a great character to do with Assault Marines no matter what kind of Assault Marines they are, as long as they can take a character, bring a Master of Descent. You're going to bring 2 troops of Despoilers and 2 Inductee, and you're going to do 2 Rhinos and 2 Drop Pods in your standard Crusade Detachment. Now, I know what you're saying, Drop Pods, that's a lot. It's a lot to continuously bring on the board. We'll get to it. So, your Armored Support is going to be 2 Predators and 2 Vindicators, and then you have a Leviathan Dreadnought because there's a really cool Night Lords Leviathan Dreadnought that you can pick up. It's just something cool to have. And then you're going to do a Terra Assault detachment where you're going to have a Terra squad, a Night Raptor squad, and then you're going to use your Prime benefit on the Terra squad to bring in another Rhino. Now that is a little silly. But you do need the if you want to, I would recommend bringing in another light transport. And then you're going to do the Atramentar Hunt detachment, and this is, I believe, an Apex detachment where you're going to do a Tartaros Command Squad as your Atramars. So your Master of Descent and your Night Raptors deep strike turn 1 because that's just what they do, and you put them somewhere where they can survive so you can continuously use your Master of Descent to bring in more units. Speaking of which, your next set of units are going to be your Praetor and your Atramentar, and you deep strike them turn 2 for free using the Master of Descent. Now, your Praetor has to be in a jump pack because he cannot have the Terminator armor because you cannot give him the deep strike rule. So the only way to have him have deep strike and then you can attach him is with the jump pack. I don't feel like I don't ever remember seeing that there was a problem doing that. Having a Praetor, a standard dude with a jump pack, join a squad of Terminators. But if I'm incorrect with that ruling, please let me know in the comments down below. And then again, you're going to use your Master of Descent. You're going to try to keep them alive as long as possible to bring in your drop pods turn 3 and 4, and you're going to bring in those Inductee. Now, the reason why you want to bring in those Inductee is because they have Vanguard. It's either Vanguard 2 or Vanguard 3. And then they have these little like stabby daggers. Bring them in. They're 100 points each. Your drop pods are 50 points. So it's 150 points, 300 points total through turns 3 and 4. And you just bring them in and you put them exactly where you need to on an objective if there are objectives. And you just Vanguard murder everybody that you can. I guess turn 4 probably wouldn't be the best because of not being able to charge turn 5 because there normally isn't a turn 5. So that might be something you might want to look into changing. That kind of, as I'm talking through it, I can see where that can be a problem. But definitely turn 3 would be good. So maybe you could swap one of those drop pods out for like a Charybdis or a Dreadclaw, because then you can assault out of those, I believe, and those are flyers. So that would also be a good way to do it. In that case, you'd probably want to bring in an Armored Fist detachment to figure that out. But also, Dreadclaws and Charybdis are very Night Lords looking as well, so I'd highly recommend picking those up, and I do have those at the bottom in the units to pick up list. So that might be a way to kind of finagle bringing in extra Inductee or extra units, Terror Squads throughout the game. Then you're going to do your Despoilers and some Rhinos, cover down the objectives, and then you're going to do your Terror Squad and your Centurion in a Rhino for Vanguard. So the Rhino that you've logistical benefited out, put your Centurion and your Terror Squad in there, and then go for Vanguard points because they have Vanguard 3 or 4. Your Predators, if you go to the list and look at what I kitted them out with, I actually gave them the Flamestorm cannons. I don't remember if I gave them las cannons as their sponsons, but I imagine that I did. The Flamestorm cannon is great because it has panic. But basically the whole thing is to move forward and use those to panic off your enemy from objectives, and then you come in, or at least route them, and then you come in and then you either Vanguard them off, or you get that extra weapon skill when you charge because they are now statused and then they swing at initiative 1. So it's like super, you combine that with the fear, and it's super cool. And I think that's super very thematic of Night Lords, as well as like it's a very good combo, right? And then your Vindicators are your standard, the Demolisher Cannon ones, where they are just taking out with that Ordnance D on your opponent's vehicles. Terra Assault. So we have some Night Raptors here. And you're going to see that I have a Terra detachment, a Terra Assault detachment in every list. And then I bring Terra Squads and Night Raptors. So that actually doesn't change for any of these lists because they are just very good to have. So this one is going to have Sevatar as your high command. You're going to do a Centurion and a Librarian with a jump pack. Now I did swap out your Master of Descent with a Librarian with the jump pack in this one, but you'll see why. You're going to have 2 tactical squads and 2 rhinos. Tactical squads could be swapped out for despoilers. That is a choice that you have to make. But as we go through these lists and as you're building your army, you might want to just stick with having despoilers initially, because then you're only buying 2 sets of Marines instead of 4 sets of Marines. Sorry, let me rephrase that. 2 sets of Marines for despoilers, 2 sets of Marines for inductee, and then you would have to do another 2 sets for tacticals. But if you just continue on with or I guess your terror squads would also be another one. So you're looking at like 80 Marines if you wanted to have 2 sets of tacticals. It's a lot of Marines, but that's kind of what we do anyway. So then you're gonna do 3 Rhinos. Sorry, tangent. You're gonna do Armored Fist attachment with a Land Raider Achilles and a Spartan. You're gonna do a shock assault detachment of an Atramar Flay Clade. So your Terminators, your Tartaros Terminators. And then you're going to do a Terror Assault detachment with 2 Terror squads, a Night Raptor squad, a Fire Raptor, because like Raptors, like bring in the Raptors. And then you're going to logistical benefit a Rapier crew full of your the Gravis Heavy Bolters. And then you're going to do an Atramar Hunt with Cataphractii Command Squad. Now the cool thing about the Atramar Hunt detachment is that you get a retinue and you get a regular like elite slot. So always go with that command slot because they have the higher weapon skill. All right, so Terror Assault notes. You're going to do the Atramar Flay Clade in a Spartan with Sevatar because they get to use his rules if he's on the board and some other stuff. So highly recommend just keeping them together. And if you have to, you can divert as necessary. Your Librarian with the Jump Pack and the Cataphractii Atramar Deep Strike, and they go character hunting. So that's where you get that Deep Strike, being able to give them to Cataphractii, and then you put your Librarian with the Jump Pack going there as well, so then they can do Biomancy and Telekinesis. So that's definitely a way to go, because you can use, let's see, you would be able to react as they shoot you on their turn, right? You're going to do a Centurion with the Land Raider Achilles for Vanguard and Fear. So that is a 5-man plus a Centurion makes a 6. Your other Terror Squad, which is a 10-man, is going to go on the Rhino, and they're just going to go for objectives. Your tacticals can cover down on your objectives, or you can, like I said, swap those out for spoilers, depending on how you want to run your army. You're going to call in a Fire Raptor as soon as possible and as many times as possible. And like I mentioned in previous videos, Fire Raptor is really good, especially with those missiles. Then you get those vehicles. If your opponent lines up vehicles in rows, you can do some pretty good damage coming in from the rear and like taking them out that way with those missiles. You're going to deep strike Night Raptors turn 2 or turn 3, hopefully, because you don't have a Master of Descent. So just kind of continue with that. Let's see. So your Librarian would be second, so you would hopefully get your Night Raptors turn 3 or 4. Or I would just bring them on the board or bring them in as regular reserves from the board edge. And then your Rapier Battery provides that suppressive cover. Now those heavy bolters, heavy Gravis heavy bolters have, I believe, suppressive 2. So plus your Fear, you're already looking at a -3 on whatever roll that they're rolling, which I believe is going to be a cool check. Super beneficial with all the Fear that you have. All right. Onto the Volkite suppression. Now, this was from the Warhammer community website. Those are some pretty cool Night Lords and then a nice Volkite. But I feel that, again, in my opinion, Volkite should be orange. There's no orange here. So paint your Volkites orange because I feel like that's the color of Volkite. Personal opinion. So, Crusade Detachment, you're going to do a Praetor and Tartaros Terminator armor. Don't remember which one I picked, but you're going to do a Centurion and a Legion Champion, 2 Despoilers, and 3 Rhinos. Armored support are going to be 3 Predators, and I believe these have, oh, the Volkite. They have Volkite on them because you can do Predators with Volkite. And then a Kratos with Volkite. Then you're going to do 1 Armored Fist attachment with a Land Raider Carrier, Terror Assault with a Terror Squad, Night Raptor, and a logistical benefit of a Duradio Dreadnought. And then you're going to do Army Vanguard of Khantakar Terminators because Khantakar have Volkite. So everything has Volkite for the most part. Your Praetor and your Khantakars go in a Land Raider Carrier because he's in Terminator armor. Give him the Volkite Serpenta and the Paragon Blade. Centurion and your Despoilers go down to cover objectives. Your Champion and your Terror Squad go into a Rhino to get Vanguard and go character hunting. You could also give him your Paragon of Battle if you wanted to do that. Your Kratos and your Duradio provide light cover, light anti-armor, and suppressive support. Mostly suppressive because this game is more about killing the infantry than the tanks if against your opponent, just because you're not going to be doing a lot of damage to AV-14. And then your Night Raptors deep strike and go Vanguard hunting whenever they can come in. It's very Volkite heavy, obviously, but basically you're just trying to cause fear and do Volkite stuff. And the last but not least, we're going to do this demonic nightmare, and we'll see how this pans out and if it's even thematic. I don't know in that case, honestly, but this is pretty sweet. If you can tell, this is obviously a Night Lord's Demon Prince with a jump pack, or I guess wings in that case, but he did the like vampiric head, which is pretty wicked, honestly. So We're gonna do a Praetor, we're gonna do a Centurion and a Legion Champion, 2 Despoilers, 3 Rhinos. Oh, did I go backwards? No, I didn't. It's almost exactly the same as the previous list. It's very close. Um, very, very close. You're gonna do 2 Predators, and I think these are just your either las cannon Predators or they have oh, plasma or something. They're Melta. I don't know. I'd have to go look at the list again, but they are better Predators than just the either the Flamestorm or the Volkite. Then you can do Kratos, and this Kratos is going to have the standard turret with the FE shots. The oh man, high impact. No, whatever the regular one, the flash burn shells. There we go. Terror Assault again, Terror Squad, Night Raptor Squad. And you can do an Allied Crusade detachment. You're going to do a command as a Ruinstorm Demon Hierarch, 2 squads of lesser demons, and then a heavy support detachment with a Demon Behemoth. So your Predator is going to go, or your Praetor is going to go with your Night Raptors, so he has a jump pack. Go slay the Warlord and Vanguard hunting. They may deep strike if you want them to. Centurion is going to go with your Despoilers and cover down on your objectives. Your Legion Champion is going to go with a Terror Squad and a Rhino and go Vanguard character hunting as always. Your Predators and your Kratos are going to provide anti-armor support. Those are going to be your big heavy hitters. Then you're going to bring some demons on with your Hierarch having to go his own way and go character hunting and go do whatever Hierarchs do. Your lesser demons are going to go secure your objectives with the whatever rule that they have where you have to roll and then they get different line values. And then your behemoth goes and causes havoc wherever possible. I feel like this is more of it's like a 40k 30k list where you can kind of combine those two things. And I think that if you had 40k raptors, you could also I imagine you could probably use them. I don't know the size comparison of the old Raptors and the new ones, but like the new ones are pretty sick, especially with the Kill Team ones that came out compared to like those old ones that are pretty outdated. So, and then obviously just demons. Do some cool demon stuff. So, let's see, Marines probably not Mark III. I feel like Mark III aren't really Night Lord esque. Mark II, Mark IV, Mark VI, tactical and assault for your despoilers, tactical and inductee Kip Ash Raptors, or pick up the old ones if you want to go that route, or pick up the new ones and go that route too. You're going to do roughly around 60 to 80 Marines. You're going to do a bunch of Terminators because you can do Kantakar, and those are the specific ones that already have models, or you can do Start Tartaros and Cataphracti for Atramentars. Those are the ones you would have to kit bash yourself. Sevatar and all the Night Lord Praetors, they look pretty sweet. Your Rhino, your Land Raider Carrier, Leviathans, and your Contemptors also look really cool. They have like flayed skin on them and pinned up dudes and bones and stuff. Then you can do Predators, Kratos, Drop Pods, Dreadclaws, and the K1 is supposed to be the Charybdis. I couldn't remember how to spell it, so I just put the K1. And then, grab your Primarch. I'd highly recommend 3D printing some bits for skulls or flight skin, or like use Kroot trophies or like Age of Sigmar stuff. And then if you want to go demon route, you can do Flesh Eater Core or Soulblight Gravelords. I feel like both of those are good options. And you can do some pretty sweet conversions with like the vampire-esque stuff. And kind of go that route. So, all right. With that, if you've made it this far, thank you very much. I do appreciate all of the views and comments that I've had since I've been making these videos. I love talking about the lists and I love hearing feedback. So please, if you have any feedback on any of these lists, let me know down in the comments below. All that fun stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Those really do help. It helps get these lists out to those who want to play Horus Heresy, as well as like it makes me feel good that people are enjoying these lists and having a fun time. And I really want to keep doing this, and it gives me incentive to continue making these videos. And then maybe one day I'll hit YouTube partner, and then I'll do all the fun, crazy things like start a Patreon, and then I don't know. So I don't know that. I don't know what you do after that, but maybe one day. So I should probably start painting again on camera and maybe do some schemes and stuff like that. So that'll be it when I return home from my travels. So thank you again for making it this far. I believe White Scars are next, and then after that, somebody tell me what you want to see after that one, because I don't have plans yet, but I will be going through the remainder of the legions to get there. We are over halfway done, so let's keep chugging along. So hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something. Hope you have some cool plans. And until the next video, go make a mess.